Yes, today's wedding and event insider, we have an awesome topic. And I say awesome. And
when you insert words that you want to fill in with something else.
Oh,
awesome.
Sister. Okay. Wedding
awesome.
Wedding traditions. There's a lot of wedding traditions. We have kind of a I don't know, you want to call it a stock wedding ceremony, reception traditions, an American tradition for weddings. And they come from places. And they come from
really weird places.
Yeah, a lot weirder than some people might think. So I think we're going to discuss some of those traditions that we normally see and kind of where they come from, as well as some other traditions around the world, because we're a pretty diverse community. And being in the event industry, we got to roll with the punches and make sure we know what the heck's going on and where it comes from.
We need to put out some warnings, first and foremost, that hearing some of these traditions may make you not want to ever use them again. That's the takeaway I think I have after
Spoiler alert.
Doing a little bit of research.
Fact
checking us is not okay.
Yes.
Yes, we Googled things. We took things at face value. We are Americans, okay? That's what we do. And other than that, we are not making fun of people's cultures either. I think there's a lot of humor that can be found and we can laugh at ourselves. I think it's okay to laugh at ourselves when it comes to these things. I know that I embodied and did some of these things at our wedding. And now I'm like, why did we do that? I didn't understand the meaning. And I don't know if I'm okay with why we did that now.
I know. I think that's because we follow traditions and we don't know.
We don't know.
But sometimes, you don't even have to care. It's like,
true.
You know what? Even if it does have these meanings, deep meanings, or from years and years and years, whatever ago, it doesn't matter. I mean, sometimes it changes and it morphs into, what you want it to be for your day now. So,
well, I think about a previous conversation we've had, Michelle, out of one of our podcasts where you had your bridesmaids in beautiful blue dresses, right? Weren't they in blue, bright blue? Electric blue dresses. Back in the day, bridesmaids were supposed to wear white to make sure that evil spirits, a drinking game, everyone, every time we have to say evil spirits as a reason and origin behind a tradition, evil spirits didn't know who was the bride. Like, it would be very confusing to think that the bride was not the person right in front of the officiant and right in front of the groom.
So the bride didn't wear white?
The bride, at one point that did change, right? Michelle, you were saying about Queen Victoria.
Yes, and actually I eloped. So when I came back, I couldn't wear my white wedding dress. So just due to family pressure. Family pressure.
No, your wedding dress was the electric blue.
Why couldn't you wear white anymore?
Were you no longer pure?
I was no longer pure. I was already married, and so when I came back,
adult content. Warning.
Yes, there's going to be a fair amount of adult content because some of these traditions involve.
Yes, exactly.
Things.
Oh my gosh. So yes, I eloped. Yeah. So I was already married. So in my family's eyes, it was like, you're not going to wear the white wedding dress. And so I had a get together, but anyways, I had an electric blue dress that was made for me, and I wore it to our wedding ceremony, and it was beautiful. And my husband wore his dress blues; he was in the Marine Corps, so I mean, it turned out beautiful. And for us, it fit us, and it was good. I do like to be a little bit out of the cookie cutter, so for me, it was really good. But the tradition with the white wedding dress did come back from the mid 1800s. I think Elizabeth and I were talking about, and Queen Victoria, and actually the dresses before that was very common to wear red.
Yeah. Hey, I love that. That's fun. Something different.
I like that too. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the something blue, as you talk about blue, of course, again, adult content, represented purity and virginity. So that's why you have your something blue. So I don't know if you want to do the something old, something blue, but
something old, something new, something green, something blue. Yes, I know. Faithfulness, loyalty, true blue.
Yeah.
I thought the borrowed piece was really good. It was actually, so that something old, something new, something borrowed was actually it used to be taken from a happily married couple to be passed on to that couple. So I actually thought that was kind of a cool thing. I didn't know that before. I was learning about that. So I did like that piece of it.
Yeah, that seemed to make sense.
Yeah.
Having groomsmen on threw me off because, again, it must have been a different time getting married. And it was. It was a very different time because the groomsmen, you needed to have groomsmen equipped with swords so no one stole your bride. Can you guys imagine that today? Someone just, I sounded so innocent. Could you imagine that today?
Pull out this sword.
Yeah, but you know what? And I know Michael's a groomsman of yours, Matt, but Michael, are you working on your swords and fencing skills here?
I'm actually an expert. I grew up sword fighting with my brother all the time.
I taught him that.
Yeah. Lots of scars on this hand from hitting with wooden swords. So I'm actually an expert.
Yeah, Mike and my brother Bob are going to be really good at it. We used to dress them up in football outfits and hockey outfits and have them, the actual equipment and have them beat on each other in the backyard.
Prepping for weddings your whole life, if you guys could say.
Yeah, we kept doing that. We kept doing that until we were like in high school.
You still do that.
Well, and there's something that reminds me. I'm picturing like obviously the kids playing with the wooden sticks, but I'm also picturing like Robin Hood and like back in the day where these traditions probably came from. And I'm like, wait, why would they steal the bride? And I'm like, oh, it's probably because of that historical thing of it's like this kingdom is marrying this kingdom, and if we steal the bride, it literally represents something way bigger than.
Oh yeah, I think the one that really sets me off to think about the times and how a bride one was wearing a veil over her face, because if she was ugly, the arranged marriage, you didn't want the groom to see that and run down the aisle.
The uggo.
So
that's a real thing.
That's a real thing. And so the other reason,
so many ugly nobles.
Matt, we can still get you a veil.
Yeah,
you can wear one.
Hey, I don't have any hair, but I'm still handsome.
I think too is
that's what my mom says.
Yes, where the groom doesn't see the bride before the ceremony. It ties into that same one. With
I'm
the veil
dealing with that
too.
right now.
Yes, exactly. But that dates back to when the marriages were arranged, and that they did not. The couple wasn't actually allowed to see each other until the actual ceremony when they came together. So they didn't see each other.
Too late, can't back up.
Yep, exactly. And she wore the veil too. So there was no running away till after the ceremony. And you were
so now,
no.
Does anybody remember that scene in Roger Rabbit where they think they're coming up to Jessica Rabbit and it's just crazy cartoon characters like, it's a man.
To answer your question, no, we don't remember that scene.
I know,
I'm an exer.
Yeah, but I couldn't imagine seeing the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with at the moment. I mean, you already spent a 20-minute ceremony listening to readings and other things, and then you see the spouse lifting the veil, and then you have to kiss that person.
I tell you what it does. It gives me a lot of ammo when I'm dealing with clients who want that, who don't want to see each other beforehand. And I'm like, you know what the real tradition on that is?
Right.
You never even
You're
get
not
to
going to like
see
it.
that.
You're not going to like it.
So let's do a first look instead.
Yeah, do that first look. Yes.
Because you're not purchasing or trading of any goods, and your wife is not getting a pig for the endowment.
I feel it's also kind
wish
of
that was
cruel,
still the
not
case.
just to the groom, but to the bride, because like she's gonna see his face.
Right.
She's
And
gonna
more.
see,
As a reaction.
like
more.
as he lifts it up. It's like
How do you hide that reaction?
And with the bride, because you can't see,
all
the bride
right.
can see him, right?
Okay.
Can the bride see through the veil? So it's like she already knows.
No, she walks blind and carries a stick down the aisle. Of course she can see.
Well, that's what I mean. So it's like a two-way. So she's had time to figure out that. Oh man,
That runaway bride.
she has time to deal with the horror. This guy's like, oh.
What part that surprises you? Women in general have to have lower standards about a men's appearance to begin with. I mean,
You're smart.
yeah.
this is true.
Whereas men have this high standard, and then they all have the, or they'll, all right.
Or there's no, we're good.
Yeah.
Just keep the veil
That's
down.
fine. We could just do like a little like,
We're good.
and then we could kiss through
Oh
the.
my gosh.
Can we make these veils permanent? Is that a thing?
Well, I mean, we're getting close to that when we're wearing masks these
Permaveil,
days. You know, covering our face. But
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
now the next one that really, I think, just is like, ooh, that really makes me upset about origins of things. But garters and bouquet tosses.
Those are fun.
Okay, you said this in previous podcasts, but let me rebuttal this with the actual traditions of where they come from. A bouquet toss is to distract the wedding guests from the fact that you and your husband, or now husband, are running off to the bedchamber to consummate the marriage.
This is before the reception.
This is before the reception. That's why
How
I'm
does
going
she
in this order.
consummate and throw the bouquet?
Throw. Okay, let's go run. Okay, we threw the bouquet.
It's a
Let's go run
distraction.
off and do this.
Shiny thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Squirrel.
Yeah.
The
was gonna say-
garter is then thrown after the consummation to prove that you did consummate the
Ah,
marriage.
that makes sense.
It's a fresh, warm garter from the bedchamber.
if it's a
Bait and switch and a hey, look what I.
So it's a distraction from the
Yes.
beginning. So clearly they didn't. There wasn't going to be much time for the consummation. Like that was not obviously going to take very long back in the day. So they're like, well,
they
this
were
will distract them
virgins,
for.
apparently.
Yes, this is supposed
Come on,
to be the
guys, we
first
got
time.
one act in this song.
I would have
We'll be
to
right
say
back.
though that is that as like as that sounds, it's actually a step up because predating that, the parents, I believe, went in the room to make sure that it happened.
And now I have the heebie-jeebies.
Because so like throwing the garter, it's like okay.
At least we had our privacy.
And we just lost all of our viewers.
And we
listeners
just lost everybody.
I know. So I'm going to go to a really happy topic. I'm going to go. I'm pulling us out, guys. Here we
Yes.
Oh, don't say anything about pulling out. No.
go. Oh,
that wasn't allowed back then either.
Changing the words.
And the podcast is over.
Oh my gosh, we are sinking fast. All right, so the ring bearer's pillow. Actually, this one did make me really happy. The ring bearer's pillow. You know how that cute little boy will walk down the aisle, and it's a promise of dreams coming true for the couple. So I like that one because a lot of these origins that we were looking at, it was like all
evil
spirits and different things like that.
Defend the bride from being stolen.
Yes, so that one made me happy. So I like.
Is it because like it's like just the happiness of like a small child, like that's what your future has type of thing?
It's what the child carrying the pillow is innocence and new beginnings together.
Is that the flower girl too? So the same thing or is it just the room?
Well, the flower girl goes back into our.
They wanted a virgin to to walk down the aisle, and it's like knowing that my daughter is a flower girl at Matt's wedding makes me think of that all a little more differently.
You go back further, they were being sacrificed to serpents or something.
Yes.
Thrown into a pit of volcano first.
Serpent sacrifice.
Oh my.
That's fantastic.
But I do like the ones that are positive like that. And what's funny is that there's not many. there's really not that many that are like, oh, that's cute.
It's amazing people stayed married in general. Like,
I do like the kissing one. Let's talk about that kissing one. That first kiss, and then also the kissing at the reception. It sounds like there was a lot of kissing going on. As far as Elizabeth, do you want to tell them how that went? Because you were.
Well, I actually think this is
probably the first time they kissed, right?
Yeah,
Ever.
no. So the kiss is fine, but it was basically to break the seal of kissing, because what would happen in Swedish customs is that once you had your first kiss, if your partner left the room, you were free game for anybody else to kiss you. What? That's a lot of kissing. That's way too much kissing.
Oh, so it's like breaking the seal of kissing.
Yes,
it's like a weird like Irish kissing booth thing.
Wait, I kind of get it. I mean,
do you?
It depends on certain parts of like Europe. Like, I mean, Italians and the French and whatever. It's kiss on both sides.
I see. It's as a greeting.
Kissy.
Yeah,
you know, and
it is a greeting.
That's how you greet people in higher society.
Yeah, but as Americans, we're uncomfortable with
we do
showing
side
emotion
hugs here in the middle class.
Yeah.
But outside us.
We're very, very Scandinavian. Like, I'll hug you.
You're like my mom. She'd be like, I want a real hug. Bring it.
Not the butt out hug, but the real.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I like the bride's bouquet too, though. It's still
evil spirits.
Evil spirits, kind of with the. It used to be, what was it?
Herbs and spices.
But now, yes, the flowers and the bride's
Wait, what?
bouquet.
What about herbs?
They used to carry herbs and spices.
Like thyme.
Because everybody smelled bad.
No, well, that
to ward off
that makes sense.
spirits.
It's always evil spirits.
Yeah,
always evil spirits. But then there was some places that said that because they only bathed once a month, so that's why they.
Generous.
Yeah, right. Not even on their wedding day were they allowed to bathe. So they carried a bouquet, and that's why they had boutonnieres and bouquets to cover up their fragrance or lack of their.
Is that just wishful
fragrance.
thinking? Because like I've smelled pretty bad, and I don't think a flower would on my chest would have been.
They were organic back then, so it matters.
Yes.
I know. And then that romantic gesture that we see where the groom will carry his bride over the threshold of their going into their home. It is such in our culture now, it is a romantic.
I was not carried over the threshold.
You were not.
No.
Michael.
We did not ward off evil spirits.
It was a small, low budget wedding.
There was no time or room for that.
And if you ever wore a tailored suit, you're not picking up a lot of people in that.
My dress did weigh like 20 pounds. So.
There you go.
But what is the origin of that one? Is that supposed to be evil spirits too?
It is. They were to keep them off the bride's feet. To ward off the evil spirits that might attach themselves to
There's a lot of evil spirits.
We're just so lucky in modern day we don't have evil spirits, or at least the concept of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Knock on particle board.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, in this part of this research, because that was really fun for me, was to do a little bit of research of where these customs came from. And like I said, I was rethinking what we did for our own wedding. But then I looked at other cultures and traditions. And there's one thing I want to do for you, Matt.
What's that?
It's something really special before your wedding.
Tell me all about it.
For your bachelor party. I want to do a South Korean tradition.
South Korean.
Where we bind your ankles together and we all take turns whacking your feet with a stick or a rope for a short period of time. It'll only be a little bit of pain. And we ask you serious questions to make sure we know that you have valor and then you have strength. And that will be the test of your bachelor party.
I think you're describing every other Thursday night for me.
I don't. Feet whipping parties?
That sounds awful.
Sounds awful.
Now they might have their reasons.
Can't you just ask me the question?
Yeah.
I think that.
Well, that's our next podcast.
Oh, marriage is serious business. Yeah, right.
You're gonna lay right here.
What do they do in North Korea?
Oh.
Yeah, that's South Korea. Can you imagine? Now I don't know if this
that's
is
a free country.
I don't know if this is an
Did you happen to
active
find out like what's like the modern version of that? Like, is that still like to this day one, or is that like an ancient one? Like,
you no fact checking.
Okay,
I didn't
gotcha.
wasn't able to like dig into
because
it.
I wondered.
I took it at face value.
It's like a like they take feathers now and hit them on the feet or something.
Tickle, tickle, tickle.
You know, I don't know.
Try to answer this question while we make you
Tickle
laugh.
Everything gets watered down over time. That's it.
Oh my gosh.
That is really funny.
I don't like that one, Liz. I don't want to do that.
I know that one sounds awful.
But if we record it, I might.
Okay. To jump back to the veiled one, I had always heard that in more modern times too that it was you didn't see the bride because it was bad luck. Is that incorrect?
Oh,
That's
That's-
way more boring.
Well, that
but-
sounds like an easy transition from the other ones.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, well, we still wanted this transition, but we can't justify it this way. What about luck?
So we'll
we'll just call it luck.
no, I think it almost the evil spirits was a face, and then
Right.
all of a sudden it turned into
It's
it's bad luck
Right.
because
Yeah.
it's bad luck
Which
to
is
rain
just-
on your wedding day. It's bad luck to see each other. It's bad luck if you eat spaghetti the night before
So
your
what
wedding.
you're saying
Just
is,
black
yeah.
I think you made up all of them.
I made up 2/3.
so bad luck is the new evil spirit. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Yes, I think that is morphed into that.
It's actually the Americanized version of no one wants to say evil spirit, but if luck, that's one thing we can make sense of. Does that not make sense now as we talk about that? Like, oh
that
yeah,
kind of does, yeah.
like, it's not evil spirits. We can't say that. But
Evil
it is bad
spirits.
luck to see each
Yeah.
other before
Luck
the
be a
wedding.
lady, same thing.
Yeah.
Even all this aside, though, with the bad luck or the bad tradition or just following the traditions. I mean, there's some that I have seen things. I love that couples now are just making what's best for them for their day and doing what is just not really caring. I mean, wanting to pull in some of the traditions for family and just different meanings and different things that it can pull, but just making it be their day.
Making your own.
Making it their own. And I just think that part is the beautiful thing about it all. There was one wedding I remember, and I was so happy I had a camera and I could have tears and nobody knew as the wedding photographer for that day. But the bride, for the first dances, they did a one with their mom. And so then the bride and her two sisters danced with their mother. And I will never forget that. It still gives me goosebumps. And it was just the most beautiful thing where they were just honoring the mother of the bride. But it was beautiful. So there's just so many different things.
New tradition in that.
New traditions in that fashion. And I bet if we even took a second, you guys could even bring up other traditions that are kind of new and different that we see in this event industry.
A new
now.
take on an old tradition.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. But that one was one that was one of my favorites.
Well, I was never clued into a family tradition of mine, and here I was at the wedding, and somebody made a comment after the fact. But apparently, it was a tradition in the Hinkie family that the Hinkies always get escorted down the aisle, or the brides, by both set of parents. News to me. And so here is my dad escorting me
Information
down.
I could have used yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. So here's, my dad escorted me down, which, by the way, back in medieval times, it was because the dad was using the daughter as property and leverage for, better legacy in life. But that, walking my, daughter down the aisle was something I thought my dad would always like, but nor did I know that my mother, and she never said, and she didn't really care, but that was the tradition, is that they walk both of us, or they both walked me down. So
Both
it was
parents.
like,
Oh, that's nice.
check. It is nice. I think I wish I would have known. I would have absolutely have done that. But there are some really great traditions that I've seen. And Michelle, to go to what you said, and I can't tell you how many times I say this at a planning meeting with a couple. They go, what is traditional? I'll ask the question, well, what's the tradition? Or they'll go, what's traditional for that? What do you want?
Right.
Like, stop asking what's traditional. Yes, I'll tell you the best man does speak first for toast. That's the tradition. But is there a better way of doing that? Is your bridesmaid a better speaker than your best man? There's reasons behind it that are more specific to you than the reasons of evil spirits. Like, nothing needs to be derived from the evil spirits, and that's why the best man maybe spoke first.
Right.
I do think that that's the important thing for people to remember as we laugh about tradition. What is your tradition? What tradition do you want to make? Because I bet you that family you're talking about, maybe that's what the daughters are going to do now with their kids.
Yes.
Right.
I think that's so
Exactly.
special to carry that on.
Special.
Your own tradition.
Pick your own traditions.
Mhm,
And there's
mhm.
so many that have fallen off to the wayside. I mean, even you think about the seating, like come in it's just like, don't worry about picking a side, you know, where the bride's side and the groom's side during the ceremony and that sort of thing. I mean, that one really has fallen off to the lowland of, we hardly ever see that anymore. It's really, we're coming together as one family, and it just come and sit where you'd like to sit, because we're all, you know, we're going to be one family. So I think that there's been some great things where we kind of let the traditions fall to the side, pick the ones that we like, and that have meaning, and you bring it into your ceremony, but you can do what you want to do and what makes meaning for you and your loved one.
Here's a good one.
Google.
Yes, exactly. So, because we have a lot of June birthdays, so I thought this was kind of funny. So there's so many June weddings. June is typically the first busy month of the wedding season still.
For Minnesota.
But traditionally, is because June, we already kind of talked about this, was when you would get your annual bath. So a lot of times people would be bathing in June. So we plan. So you would be at least you could get a smaller bouquet.
But don't worry, the creek or the lake down the street doesn't work. But it's when you get your annual bath.
Annual one. Also,
I thought it was just because it's so cold in January that they're hunkering in and they come out in June.
This is Matt. This doesn't pertain specifically to you.
The bathing one didn't.
Bachelor parties. They date all the way back to ancient Sparta. So it's a very
where they knocked people down in a giant hole and say, "We are Sparta,"
and obviously binded their ankles and whipped their toes.
Yeah, right.
The whole feet, not just the toes.
The whole feet.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
You know, this
traditions are a great starting.
Did you know that
honeymoons
apparently originated as a way to go see family that couldn't make it to the wedding? Imagine that. We're going to go to Nebraska and see everybody after the wedding. Everybody couldn't make it.
That is actually,
right?
That kind of makes a lot of sense.
Actually, I read something completely different on that. This is
and
why
now
we don't
it's to get away from your family.
No, they had a honeymoon that was a month long because they expected you to come back pregnant.
Oh.
And that's why it's called honeymoon, is because it was a moon cycle, and somewhere in there something should have happened.
So that makes more sense. This Google.
So you get to take a whole month off?
A whole month off, and how exhausting does that month sound? I mean, as the honeymoons are, it's supposed to be relaxing for a week long. A month of that?
No pressure. Lord. No pressure. You must come back pregnant.
Yes, exactly.
That's a lot.
Well, it's only intense for like 5 minutes a day.
So while we're on this topic, Matt, where are you going for your honeymoon for a month-long journey? Is that motorcycle trip?
Oh, yeah. We're going to go do the Tail of the Dragon in North Carolina. That should be a lot of fun.
Ooh.
Wait, we're not. That's not the honeymoon.
Tell us where you are.
That's a trip with my brother.
That's when he leaves during the busy season for 2 weeks.
Telling us exactly where you're going to be. You're going to have a following.
Yeah, we don't really know what we're going to be doing.
We expect a garter.
You know you're getting married in a month and a half.
Yeah.
So he actually will be going to Nebraska to visit family. Sounds like.
Yeah, we might Airbnb something in Florida, possibly. I don't know.
There you go.
International travel.
We expect her to come back good and pregnant.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
All right, I'll bring her back pregnant, guys.
Bring her back pregnant.
High expectations.
There's plenty of babies going around. So
Yeah.
Might as well have more babies.
More babies.
Babies are fun. You should see our office during the day if anybody wants to come by and check it out. So that was a lot of fun.
Good here.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
I love it.
I love this memory lane or historical journey we went on. It was warped and disturbing, and it ended and started with evil spirits.
Way too many evil spirits.
Lots of evil spirits.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I think we learned a lot.
Well, hopefully this helps any couples figure out their planning.
This is actually a segment we can do a few times.
Yeah.
We can find
there's so many things. Yes.
If you have any disturbing wedding traditions you want to submit them to info@tcwep.com.
What a good tee.
Submit them now.
If you'd like to read all of those questions, go to tcwep.com. As well as check us out on Instagram and Facebook and the tubes.
And if you want to fact check us, like I told you not to do, go to info@tcwep.com.
And all of those are going to be forwarded to Matthew.
The complaint department.
You're good with that. Well, thank you again. We'll see you again next time. And just to leave a quote to you, stop worrying about the world ending. It's already tomorrow in Australia. Check you later.
That is where the world is ending.
Oh, what?
What?
It's cute.